Trina and Bob, those text messages reveal that in 2017, Hunter Biden struck a deal with Chinese energy conglomerate CEFC, but that company began courting him back in 2015 while his father was serving his second term as vice president of the United States. CEFC wanted to capitalize on the Biden family name in order to go through with its plans to buy energy assets inside the U.S. And according to a text given to the FBI, obtained by Just the News, Hunter Biden's business associate James Gilliar texted their future partner Tony Bobulinski in December of 2015. Gilliar said, quote, "There will be a deal between one of the most prominent families from U.S. and them," meaning China, "constructed by me. I think this will be a great addition to their portfolios as it will give them a profile base in NYC, then LA, etc." The text message is just another example of Hunter Biden's clients and partners using his name and influence to woo foreign clients like CEFC. Devin Archer, another of Hunter Biden's former business associates, says then Vice President Biden knew about Hunter's business dealings and that he was, quote, "the brand."
He was aware of Hunter's business. He met with Hunter's business partners. You found a letter that illustrates that he knew me.
Now, that letter that Archer is referring to is one that he received back in 2011 from then Vice President Joe Biden, in which the vice president at the time apologizes for being tied up meeting with the then president of China while thanking Archer for coming to the White House with his son. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan says the letter is proof that President Biden knew about Archer being in business with his son. And in March of 2016, which was 10 months before his father left the vice presidency, Hunter Biden was having discussions with CEFC. Now, by the following summer, Hunter met with a top CEFC official and sent him a letter with plans to raise up to $500 million for energy asset purchases in target countries like the United States. Now, President Biden continues to deny that he had anything to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings or knew about them, although Devin Archer and Tony Bobulinski, two of Hunter's former associates, they claim otherwise. Bob, Katrina, back to you.
All right, Logan, thank you for joining us to discuss the allegations of corruption surrounding the Biden family and associates. Retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent John Nantz, plus business and political commentator John Burnett. John, we've been following this for a while now. Where do we stand?
Well, all these pieces are actually coming.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, John Burnett. I'm not that clever, okay? So, I just look at you and, that's
no problem. So all of these pieces are coming together slowly, but the picture is being painted in the sense that the missing details. Now we know what business the Bidens were in and possibly still in with regard to creating access to these foreign companies and business leaders. And now we understand the Biden administration's hostility toward American energy independence. Coming into office, he immediately scaled back America's energy independence. Now we possibly know why, because that benefits China. And he's continuing with his ESG, climate change, energy initiative, which further cripples America as well as emboldens China's production with solar panels and things of that nature. So the pieces are coming together. So I can see impeachment being accelerated.
John Nantz, of course, you're a retired member of the FBI. And, I see more and more a lot of people, specifically Democrats, who don't want to even acknowledge that there is anything to the Hunter Biden case, especially that could connect to his father. And they keep saying, well, show me the evidence, show me the evidence. So again, based on your past, putting your FBI hat on, what are some of the things that you would say, well, here is some of the evidence? And of course, we know more evidence is continuing to be discovered.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you're mentioning, the evidence just continues to compound in this case. If you just look at the Devin Archer interview, he mentions several things during his interview. He says one of the things that he really focuses on is that this influence peddling scheme is really what he calls the pinnacle of power. Navigating the regulatory forest that is D.C. was Hunter Biden's job. And he says that really is a euphemism for influence peddling. And he describes that as the pinnacle of power when you can call up your dad, who happens to be the vice president, when you have a foreign company sitting with you that's a tremendous amount of influence.
Yeah, by the way, as a reminder, and this is something that just struck me, is there's talk about there should be an inquiry, John Burnett. The Watergate hearings were not an impeachment. They were an inquiry finding out. It wasn't until they actually got smoking gun tapes on something Nixon was saying, I think it was to Haldeman, about somebody in the FBI. I won't go into all the detail, that they actually had the smoking gun, that they were trying to cover it up. So that helped lead, that inquiry helped lead. So the criticism you hear, John, is that there's not enough to go in and say, let's impeach Biden. But there is enough that everybody sees a lot of smoke. So what do you think needs to be done in the hearings if there are impeachment inquiry?
I think there is enough evidence. And you can go down different paths. The path that I would take, look at Burisma. Before all this started, they were on the brink of bankruptcy. And what did Devon Archer say? That they wanted to legitimize Burisma in terms of also co-branding with the Bidens' connection to power. That helps to grow the company. And then last but not least, a layer of protection. Yeah. In Biden's own words, he provided that protection by getting rid of the prosecutor in exchange for a $1 billion loan guarantee. Okay. That's a lot of evidence.
John Nantz, we have about 30 seconds left.
Sure. Well, I think impeachment is a nice political action, I think, but the real power lies in the special prosecutor, which Congress could do. The problem, and the bigger story here, is the complete lack of interest from DOJ, and of course that lies with Merrick Garland. You could impeach, Congress could impeach Garland, but then you're left with the DAG potentially as the next AG, which I don't think would be much better. The bottom line is elections matter. The White House needs to be taken back in 24. That way we'll be able to see the executive functions restored to their normal operating power.
All right, John Nantz, thanks so much for joining us, and John Burnett,